A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord, and in our news, dozens of firearms and hundreds of rounds of ammunition recovered under the government's gun amnesty. Commuters and operators adjust to the new bus fare will tell you how they are coping. The European Union accused of constantly shifting the goalpost for the island's international business sector. And in sports, Barbados takes silver in the final showdown of Caribta water polo.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
In our top story, the one-week gun amnesty has expired and the much-anticipated results have just been released. Our Ryan Broom is live now with those details. Good evening to you, Ryan.
Good evening, Lisa. Good evening, viewers. Well, Commissioner of Police Tyrone Griffith provided an update this evening during a news conference at the Forces headquarters. This is a collection of firearms and ammunition which was turned over to police during the just concluded week-long gun amnesty. A collection which Commissioner of Police Tyrone Griffith described as old.
As to the results, we got some 32 firearms, 1,758 rounds of assorted ammunition. As you see displayed, most of the firearms are small caliber weapons, quite ancient. And you look, if you see the ammunition, you'll see that it's been around for some time.
He says the gun amnesty has served its purpose, even though it raked in guns once owned by people who are now dead. Despite the number turned in, the commissioner says they will still reduce the chances of people being shot.
These firearms, I'm sure the firearm expert would say to you, are very capable of firing ammunition and the ammunition that was there. And so any firearms and ammunition that is taken off the streets gives less potential for someone to be injured as a consequence.
The force will also intensify its efforts to stem the flow of illegal weapons at the island's air and sea ports.
We will ensure at our ports that there is a much stronger presence. We have also been successful in attaining an additional 4 canines to use at our Bridgetown port. And as soon as we get those trained up to the level that we require, they will be put into action.
And the weapons will be subject to testing to determine if they were used in any crimes. And Lisa, the commissioner has also pointed to corruption as part of the reason why guns have made their way into Barbados.
Where there's corruption, there will always be problems. And so, if the system is corrupt, then you're not going to get the information and the support. You have to work together to be able to break the back of those crimes. And so, even though the intelligence says that, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get that tip that breaks it.
Well, Lisa, those were the major points coming out of the commissioner's update on the amnesty.
And Ryan, that last point about corruption, now it seems that the commissioner is suggesting that to make inroads into guns coming in at the ports of entry, there needs to be someone who knows something to say something.
That's right, Lisa, some of the strongest language that he's used yet. In fact, Commissioner Griffith appealed to the public in general to support the police by providing information that would help them get more guns off the streets and keep the public safe. Now, interestingly, he says people have been coming forward, and that has led to some of the success police have had in solving a number of serious crimes. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Well, on another issue now, the bus fare hike officially kicked in this morning, but even though it is an increase for ZR and minibus operators, some are complaining that it has brought them some inconveniences.
The fare moved from $2 to $3.50 today, in keeping with the measures announced in the last month's budget. Over in the Cheapside and Constitution River terminals, many operators complain they now have to keep additional coins for passengers.
I figure that the bus fare should be $3, and right now every minute you're going to be looking for quarters to get back somebody 50 cents. So it's saying that want looking over and dealing with immediately. And for the schools, for the bus fare should be $2.50.
People that want, they say they ain't squeezing up. No, I ain't a squeeze that thing. Everybody want to get work.
Meanwhile, commuters say it would take a while to adjust to the new fares.
It was a little rough, but you have no choice. You have to make enough adjustment.
I feel a little steep, but the night could do up okay. Just got to live with it.
Many believe the full impact will be felt tomorrow when the Trinity School term begins and students will be among the commuters. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Now, while acknowledging that some members of the public have been expressing concern about the hike in bus fares, Public Relations Officer of the Alliance of Owners of Public Transport, or AOPT, Mark Haynes, says day one of the increase went relatively well. He says there was no noticeable decline in the number of people using PSVs as a result of the fare hike.
So far today, I don't think that is anything that we are alarmed about. The bus fares have kicked in. Persons know that this is a fact, it's a reality, and Barbadians will just adjust themselves accordingly. But so far, it has been a relatively smoothly. But, you have persons with mixed feelings. Some felt that it should have been increased incrementally. Some did not have a problem with the increase, having increased at one time. But the bottom line is, I think, most persons do believe that the bus fares have had to go up.
And he says that a further review of the impact will be done after the new school term starts tomorrow.
We look forward to having this all rolled out as smoothly as possible, even tomorrow when the school children go on the road. Perhaps they may revert to the government buses where they don't have to pay the $3.50. Of course, the time is still early, and this has to be assessed over the next couple of days to give an accurate assessment.
What's Trending is brought to you by Trident Insurance. We treat you like family.
And Ryan is back now with a wardrobe change and all over in our social media corner to tell us what is trending.
Good evening again, Lisa. Well, as you heard earlier, bus fare has officially increased to $3.50. Now, this change has been a hot topic among Barbadians for weeks since the hike was announced. And social media is abuzz with what people are saying now that it's in effect. Caroline Clark thinks the bus system should have been fixed first before the fare was raised. Now, she thinks the benefits of the hike will only go to the PSV operators. On the other hand, Sonia Romain says instead of being negative, people should wait and see how the bus fare increase works out. He's also suggesting that those with their own vehicles should be good Samaritans and give people at the bus stops a ride. I think that's a good suggestion. I'll do that too. Well, the Transport Board has also advised that there will be a preventative maintenance program for the buses, which should mean better functioning buses, a point which hit home to many Barbadians. Now, once this footage started circulating on social media a few days ago, it shows a bus on the Martins Bay route, which with mechanical issues. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. In the U.S., the world's largest plane has successfully completed its first test flight. The megajet took to the skies in California over the weekend. It has 6 engines on the twin fuselage with 2 cockpits and a wingspan of 385 feet. For its maiden flight, it was airborne for more than 2 hours and reached a top speed of 304 kilometers per hour. In Paris, the Notre Dame cathedral caught fire today. Videos like these quickly started making the rounds on social media, showing plumes of smoke pouring from the centuries-old building. The fire at the landmark is thought to have started following renovations on the site. The roof of the cathedral has collapsed. And we have more on that later in the news. But now in the sporting world, many celebrities have taken to Twitter to congratulate Tiger Woods after his win at the Masters over the weekend. It's been hailed as a major comeback for the golfer who went through numerous personal challenges in recent years. It's the 5th time he has won the Masters. And at Coachella over the weekend, while making history as the oldest performer, Trinidad's Calypso Rose unfortunately took a tumble during her rendition of Young Boy. Take a look. Seems she took it in stride. Unfortunately, the 79-year-old did not appear to be hurt. Well, Lisa, that's what's trending this evening. You can find us, remember, you can find us easily on Facebook, Instagram, and by email. Back to you, Lisa.
Well, there is a suggestion that the time has come for the laws relating to children in Barbados to be updated. Founder of the Faith Marshall Harris Sandy Lane Charitable Trust Helpline, Faith Marshall Harris, says some pieces of legislation are almost 100 years old.
The whole thing has to be reviewed. I actually have published a 300-page review of the legislation because everything to do with children needs to be updated. The legislation we have now goes back to the 1920s and the 1930s, and therefore it needs to be reviewed, and the paperwork is in, and I'm hoping that this government will look at it, and of course there may be changes they want to make according to their particular policy, but that we would actually start to update that legislation, especially juvenile justice, which we worked on for years, and I'm hoping that that's coming very soon.
Ms. Marshall Harris was speaking after presenting a check to Mount Zion's Missions, Inc. to assist with its meals at its children's rally. Mount Zion's senior pastor, Reverend Dr. Lucille Baird, explains that the rally blends in with its ongoing community outreach program.
Today we are having intervention with the children and what we call a rally with the children. As part of this rally, we're going to be having lots of activities. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have Bible stories being told. We're going to have a distribution of something called the Samaritan's Purse. Every child will receive a gift today. Every child that comes. We expect at least 100 children to be here today to receive a gift.
The efforts of a university student have paved the way for girls at the Combermere school to form lasting friendships in the most unlikely of places. Our Sharika Griffith was there for the unveiling of that project and filed this report.
One of the female bathrooms at the Combermere school has been totally transformed. The washroom now sports brightly painted walls which feature positive messages visible for all who enter. The initiative was spearheaded by Crystal Harris, a social work student of the University of the West Indies. She says the girls' bathroom is more than a place for young women to take care of their hygiene.
A bathroom can facilitate so much more. It's a place where friendships are formed, bonding happens. It's a place where people come to doll up themselves, and people bond over simple things like you're in the cubicle, there's no toilet paper, and you have to ask somebody because you heard them come in, wait, do you see one in another room, stall that you could pass to me? And simple things like that may seem insignificant to others, but for some of these students, there are bonding moments and moments for them to exhibit kindness.
Principal Vincent Ferguson fully supports the initiative, which he believes will enhance the image of the school.
We would like to think that this is the beginning of things to come. That is, students themselves now can take a lead from Crystal's efforts and go there. We have 3 boys' bathrooms, 2 female bathrooms, and finish those bathrooms with the same level of competence and expertise that we see here today.
Groundsmen, ancillary staff and students assisted with the painting. Third former Tiffany Garner spoke about her experience.
I never had an artistic bone in my body and never enjoyed art, not even the simplest drawing. But after having the experience to take part in painting an entire bathroom and being exposed to the work of an artist, Mr. Shane Eastman, I can say I do like painting and drawing a bit better.
Ms. Harris was also key in organizing a school-wide cleanup in March. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Scores of residents and tourists have gathered to watch and mourn as the famous Notre Dame cathedral burns. The historic building caught fire earlier today. Firefighters are still battling that blaze and no one has been seriously injured. More in this Al Jazeera report.
Well, extraordinary scenes here. I'm just not very far away from the Notre Dame Cathedral, standing on a bridge on the river for anyone who knows Paris. And just a short time ago, police pushed us back because part of the roof collapsed under the flames. A huge cloud of smoke billowed out of the top, and the smoke made its way, if you like, right over us, over the city, and burning cinders started raining down. The police are obviously very worried for people's safety. They're worried about other parts of the cathedral collapsing. It's an extraordinary scene. We understand that the French President Emmanuel Macron is on his way here. He was actually supposed to be giving a televised debate this evening, responding to the Yellow Vest protest. And of course, he's called this off because, well, Notre Dame Cathedral is a French icon. It is a symbol of Paris for people all over the world. 12 million visitors visit this cathedral. So to see it in flames is really extremely sad for so many people who live in this city, people who visit it. In fact, just a short while ago, I saw an old woman with tears streaming down her face.